Amy. Thanks so much for stopping by. Today I'm going to show you how I paint a RUFFLED flower design on this glass wine bottle. I am going to be using two number 12 flat brushes. They're flat one-stroke brushes. And then I'm going to be using a Deerfoot Stippler for the inside of the flower to do the center with. Paints I'm going to be using today, of course, are, sorry, I forgot to add one of my colors here, are all folk art paints. I'm using Cinnamon, my favorite Thicket, Berry Wine, let's kind of try to set these aside here, Citrus Green, Wicker White, Magenta, and Moon Yellow. Now, with this design, it might be a little bit more challenging for me to paint it on the glass because of doing the effect that I have to do with the brush. What you might want to do if you're going to try this is to maybe actually do a base painting, whether it's base painting the entire bottle or just base painting where you're going to place the designs. Let that dry so that you have something, you know, to grip on when you're doing these movements. So bear with me. I'm aware that it's going to be a little bit challenging. On my plate I have my Berry Wine and my Wicker White right next to each other, and I'm going to be using this for my floral design. Now you can move over into this color if you want more of the Berry Wine, or move over in here if you want more of the Wicker White. If you want to touch some of this in, you can either do the same thing over here or just touch it in and continue on with blending it on your plate, or touch it and put it right on the glass. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. See how we go with this. And so basically, when it's a wiggle pattern, you're just kind of moving your brush and you're coming up and you're moving it and you're coming up and you're moving it. So again, I'm going to go like in the center of it just to give it a little bit more opaqueness. Because if you're familiar with painting on glass, the thicker the paint, the more durable the design's going to be. Now you could do the flipping more dramatically on paper. It's just that I don't want to remove the design by flipping it back and forth, so I'm just being a little cautious with that. I'm just going to keep turning and doing it, so I'm just slightly wiggling and then turning the brush a little bit just to get it to have some ruffliness to it. And I just keep putting my brush in the paint. I'm going to go over it. I want a little bit more white on this, so I'm going to add some more white to it. And I'm just moving my brush and just coming back. Very simple. Again, one of my favorite items or products I should say, to use to practice on is wax paper, because it simulates more of the surface you would be painting on with glass. And I apologize, I have a barking dog again, of course. It never fails when I'm doing a video that I have to have an animal doing something, or a kid doing something, or my husband. My husband's not home right now, so can't blame it on him. Although I guess I probably could, right? Alright, well I hope you're liking these flowers, and you don't have to cover up the entire center at all. You can if you want, but you are going to be using the stippler to tap in that center. Like I said, I just want to make sure I'm getting this coverage good here. If you're doing this and your paintbrush gets too full of paint, because I know I personally like it to not be quite as full, just scrape it off and go about your business with it. I'm going to redo that one a little bit here. I'm going to scrape some of that off. Like I said, I hope you like this. Alright, so we have one. I'm going to continue putting these on. And just kind of, you know, you can clump them together if you want, or you can space them out a little bit, because, you know, I do like leaves. So I like to use those as kind of fillers. And this particular bottle, this is not one I'm going to wash off. This is one I am going to sew. But I like more of the white here. So just so you know that this will be a lighted bottle. And I think it'll be really pretty. I love the lighted bottles. I like lights anyways, so I think that they're very calming. Very calming. So if you want some way to actually relax, nothing better than maybe having a good book, watching a good movie, and having some lights that will help you relax. And I really do think that art is a great way. There goes the barking again. Art is a great way to relax. Whether you're very good at it or not, doesn't matter. It's the, I guess, mindlessness. It's almost like meditation in a sense. Hope that makes sense. Now too, it's real important when you're painting on glass that you make sure you clean your glass well. You can go over it with rubbing alcohol once you're done, just to make sure you got all the grease and grime off of it. And of course make sure it's dry before you start to work on it. And I'm just randomly kind of rambling on here, but that's real important. Cleaning your glass properly will help your paint adhere to the glass better. So if you're someone who wants to get into glass painting and really has never tried it, it's such a great surface to practice painting on. You know, for one thing, it's something that you can actually wash off if you're not happy with the design, or if you want to use it to practice on. It's such a easy surface because you can wash it off and start all over again. And being an experienced glass painter, I have had to do that before on designs that I've painted many of, because I've gotten, like, my hands just wouldn't do the design. I'm like, what the heck is wrong with me? You know, sometimes it's a matter of painting too many, it's a matter of being tired or something to that effect, but you know, you have to kind of figure that out. Alright. Again, this is just a fun, easy design. Nothing real hard about it, honestly. The hardest thing is for me to keep from touching my design on the table so that I don't smear it or wipe part of it off. That would not be good, right? Alright, I think I might place maybe one more open one back in this area here. And I'm just kind of winging it. You know, you have to use your imagination when you're placing designs too. I'm sure there's a wrong and a right way to do it. I personally just like to eyeball things and put them where I feel that they look the best. And maybe where my eye sees it, it might be not the same thing that you're seeing. But then I like to fill it in, you know, with some buds or partially open designs. Like that. My brush does keep getting full of paint, fuller than I like. You know, some people like to paint with their brush like really full of paint. For some reason, for me, I just don't care for that too much. Wiping off again, you know, could you use a paper towel or something too to get it off. I don't really recommend washing it unless you really feel the need for it, just because then you get water in your brush, and you do have to worry about water mixing with your paint when you're glass painting, because that can actually affect the durability of your paint, so you want to be cautious with that and not practice that too much. Or if you are going to wash it out, just make sure you dry it well. Or if you have a lot of different brushes, you know, I don't mean different brushes, but like the same brush, but you have a lot of them, then you could actually switch to a clean brush and do it that way. I got a little dark with that one, but that's okay. Alright, some of them I left a little opening, some of them I didn't, but that's okay. Not a biggie. And I think on this one I am going to wipe my brush out. I feel like I am getting too much paint on it. I've been working on trying to do more live videos and find contraptions to do those with. It's crazy. I have so many of them sitting around here now. Alright, so let's go ahead and just do what I'm considering just a partially open one. And I'm going to go back over it again, just like I did the other one. So I just want to make sure, like I said, when you wiggle and you bring it back, you can wipe some of the paint off. And I really don't want to do that too much. And I'm not going to make this full. I mean, it's not going to be a full open one. It's just going to be partially. And if you feel like you got too much paint wiped off, you can just go back over it lightly like that to fill it in. So I'm going to do these in a few spots, and I might even want to have them like pointing down a little bit, as I do like that look as well. And just again, just wiggling it back and forth and giving myself some wigglies here. I'm sure there's more proper names for them, but in layman terms, that's what I'm talking. And I apologize, my furnace just kicked on. And let's see, let's place a couple more, because you know I do need to add my leaves in here. And if you know me well, as far as my designs go, I love my leaves. But because I'm lighting this, I want there to be some space left, you know, where the glass shows, so the lights shine through. But I also like it when the design is pretty full. I think it's very pretty that way. Now, I'm going to do actually just some buds. So I do want those in here too. And those are just going to be smaller, just tinier little, and you can even come back like that with it, come back like that, just really however you want to make it look. I'm going to do a couple together, here and there. That. I might come back over it a little bit with some more white. Alright, let's see where else we can stick some. And you could just leave it like this too if you wanted, or just pull these in. can see where, like I said, what I'm talking about with the pulling of the paint. Let's see, where else could we go? So I say you just kind of have to look around and see, but I am going to put some leaves in here, so I have to keep that in mind too, that I don't want to have it too much with the design itself. I want to be able to put my leaves and such in here. Alright, so basically with the leaves, I'm going to put this brush aside so that you can see I'm just basically going into the darker green, going around, going into the lighter green. Just depends on what you want to show. Now because I'm painting on a green bottle, I'm going to want the lighter green on the exterior for the most part. So that's something I have to keep that in mind. I am doing that now. I like to touch in some yellow. So I can do it like that, or once again I love space where I can go back and forth into the green, the dark green and the yellow if I want. And I can even add some white in there. If I'm finding that it's not opaque enough, I can add some white. So I'm going to start on these. I'm going to just do my little pulls. And they will throw in some pink because they're still wet. Now keep in mind too, if you're somebody that kind of thing bothers, give yourself some drying time. Get it with a hair dryer or a heat gun, or just maybe give it an hour or so to dry, just to give it time to do that so that you're not getting the other color in there, which I like the other color in there. I think it gives it just some more charm to it, so I'm okay with that. But I know not everybody is. And this is more of it's not really a loose painting, but it's more along that line. My motto is if you like it, you're doing it, you like it, then go for it. And that's the main thing, is that you have to like your work. That's why I say glass is pretty great to practice on, because you can wipe it off. Or if you're using the wax paper to practice with and get your hands trained for the feel of the strokes, that's great too. Got a little yellow in here. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. And on these I'm doing more of just the wiggly kind of leaves. I'm not really varying them a whole lot because I just wanted to keep it simple. I'm just going to pull it in like that, pull the stem around, and then just keep working it. Just keep turning your bottle, so try not to touch it on anything. That is the hard part for me. You can come through with the center with it being the lighter color or the darker. Doesn't matter. I like to have it a little bit thinner, but that's what I got, so that's what I'm sticking with. And I am putting a lot of yellow in this because I like the combination of the greens with the yellows. I'm not sure why. I don't like it really straight on, the yellow and green as much, or the yellow and green as much, but I do like it mixed in with the lighter part of the green. Now you could switch these colors around, or the style of leaves that you're using. I just, with my design that I made, just kept it simple and did just these kind of leaves. And then I did the simple one-stroke ones too. So I will be adding those in. And I'm just going around and throwing these in wherever I see fit. I like them to be kind of in different directions too. So like this one will be heading upwards, more than down. And you can tap them if you want, just to make sure you're getting good coverage. Let's see how pretty that is so far, I think. Of course I do. Say, of course I do. And you can go over them if you think that you need more coverage, but do it while you're doing it. I mean, either let it dry and then do it, or do it as you're, cut it a second time as you're painting it. And you can vary them in sizes if you want. They don't all have to be huge. Very pretty bottle though. I'm liking it. Liking it a lot. And you can definitely overlap on your design if you feel like you need to. You could actually even start this project out by painting some of these leaves first, and then painting over the top of them with the flower petals. But I chose to just add them, because you will probably need to give them some drying time if you decide to paint them first, so that you're not intermixing the paint too much, that being wet. Alright, let's see where we're at with this. I might stick one, let me think here. So that's why I say you kind of do this and plan it as you go. When I do create a design, it just is to give me an idea of what to paint, but not necessarily exactly how I did it as a design. If that makes sense. I think I might put a bigger one down here too. I am going to throw in some of the smaller leaves here in a minute. Up a little bit. What do you think so far? If you like it, give me a big thumbs up. If you try this, I'd love to see pictures of it. You feel free to post it to my Facebook page. I'm going to make sure my brush is nice and crisp. Alright, so I think I'm going to go ahead and start now with putting in some of the easier, not easier, but the smaller little strokes, just to kind of add some interest here. I know my brush is full of paint. Trying to get crisper little lines in the veins or the stems. Excuse me. Try to make sure I'm staying over the camera too. Sorry if I'm floating off. It's one thing I find hard to do when you're doing a video. I get so into my painting that I forget that I'm trying to make sure I'm on camera, that I'm showing you how to do something. And if I don't have it where you can see it, that doesn't help you, does it? No, it doesn't. Oops, it's a little sloppy. Alright. I promise you we will still have some glass showing when I'm done. So here goes the leaves I get crazy on. I really do. I don't know why. Don't know why I like them so much. And I'm almost done with them, I promise. And I'll show you one more thing and then we'll be done. Thanks so much for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed this video. I try to come up with some different things to paint, but it's not always easy when you do a lot of videos. So if you have anything you'd like to see, please let me know down in the comments. Or any suggestions on things to paint on even would be awesome. Okay, let me see here. Might add one right up here. Now you can do up around here. I just try to be cautious with that because I know I'm going to be handling it and I'm very good at sticking my fingers in things, so I know that I can ruin this very quickly. I really don't want to ruin it. It's like when you work hard on something, you want it to be there when you're done and be nice. Now, I do bake these and I coat them. If you don't necessarily have to coat them or bake it really, because it's not something people are going to be drinking out of. I do try to, as much as possible, bake my wine glasses when I paint them. The main thing is if you are going to be baking them, make sure you place them in the oven when the oven is cold. Then you preheat the oven. With the bottle in there, you preheat it. This paint wants you to bake it for 30 minutes at 350 degrees. My recommendation to you is to follow the manufacturer on whatever paint you're using, because there are a variety of paints out there on the market, so I'm not going to say they all follow this guideline, because they don't. And that's one thing you just, you have to make sure. If you're using this paint, yes, this is what it requires. If not, just make sure you read the directions on the bottle that you're getting of your paint. Now the centers are wet, which is, it's fine, but I just want you to know that if you would prefer to let it dry or hit it with a heat gun or a hair dryer to dry it a little bit before you tap on it, that would be fine. Just know that you're going to have some of the pink showing through. Again, for me, that's not a problem. For others, it might be. So I'm going to tap in now with the cinnamon around the base. Okay, I did take a minute to hit it with the heat gun. I like the centers a lot better. I went ahead and tapped the yellow back in. Now I'm going to add the cinnamon. And I put a little bit in it, and then I tap it off on my plate. And then I'm just going to tap it slightly into each one of these. I like to stay kind of around the base if possible. You could vary that if you want. I mean, that's what I'm considering base. Now some of this, it's not completely dry, so it can pull it back up. But I think you get the gist. You just play with it. Get it the way you like it. If you want to add another color, because I was thinking about even maybe throwing in some white, I could do that too. But I think right now I'm just going to leave it as it is. Another thing you could do to the centers is place some dots in there. That's kind of fun too. Look how pretty this is. It's pretty, 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 pretty. I like it. Alright, so that's it for today. If you like this video, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel by hitting that subscribe button and notification bell. And then after you watch this video, you'll see a subscribe button underneath. Or not subscribe, excuse me, share. Please make sure you share this on your social network with all your family and friends. I'd appreciate it. Alright, until the next time, you have a good one. See you then.